I don't want my longtime viewers wondering where they're at. Are we on the right channel? That blue light turns solid. We're hooked up. Alright, cabin filter. Yeah. Not exactly a service-friendly design, but is anything nowadays? This car's a 2016. Just new enough to be silly, I suppose. Yeah, that cabin filter has seen better days. Don't worry. Look at this new one. It's so nice. Since it was dirtier on the top, I'm assuming the airflow goes that way. What do you think? Once the door, they made it even better. The door has to go under the cabin filter, so you got to lift it up and get the cabin filter above it. Yeah, what could go wrong? It's not like anyone would do this in a rush for 0.2 and smash the filter and stuff. A bunch of jackasses. You're like, hey, how can we make this as stupid as possible? I got some ideas. You're like, what if we make it almost impossible to get the glove box out without breaking anything? and then we'll go ahead and tuck it back there. Why put a slot in the glove box? Oh, you can't do that, Bobby, because no, you can't. No, this is not Bobby. This is a Nissan. You can't do that, Yoshimura, because we have the filter design, so it has to be lifted up by the door, so the glove box has to be completely removed. It's silly. Let me finish getting this back together. No forcing around. I got a lot of work to do. I got like 25 hours worth of work to get done. I did 30 hours in 2 days, and I got 25 more hours worth of work sold. I just got to do it. There's about 8 Phillips screws you have to find all the way around the door. I think you're supposed to take this out, but I couldn't figure out how to get it out without looking like it wanted to break. So I basically said, I'm going to make it work one way or another. We got to do a couple of tires and I think rear brakes on this thing. Whew, that's a hard 0.2 right there, though. That's what this whole big pile of parts is for. Gravy money! I hope that brakes aren't too tedious for you guys, because they pay pretty well and they're fairly easy to do. There's not a whole heck of a lot of thought other than making sure everything's clean. I like to lubricate the contact points. That's a discussion that's up for debate, but I've been doing this 44 years and I had a handful of comebacks for one reason or another. Generally it's the parts, but I'm not perfect. Let's not even pretend that I am. But my routine works well for me. And what I tell people who want to argue about it, if your routine works well for you, then don't be intimidated by me doing it differently. Because it worked for me, it works for you, everyone's happy, right? Shouldn't have to argue about it. But we do. Anyway, even though we don't have to. I guess it's part of the fun. What we're going to do here is, I do have to admit that I told him it looks like it needs rear brakes. You gotta take the wheels off to really be sure. If I take the wheels off and they're a lot better than I thought, then of course we'll say, well, they didn't need brakes like that, right? That's the right thing to do. When you're in this business and you're hustling to make money, I have found over the years that one of the best ways to make money is to stand behind your work and don't sell people things they don't need. That's not going to benefit them. If you inspect a vehicle, you say it needs something, and they go somewhere else and they say it doesn't. Not a good look. Not if you have a long-term plan in place. Seemed like my paycheck was even a little better than normal, so I looked a little closer. Looks like the boss gave us a little kick last week. That's awesome. That is awesome. I didn't even notice it, but I'm like, man, let me look at the details. My check's a little course, I did do 74 hours. That's the bonus threshold. I know one thing's for sure. These tires, they're no good. This is the one I showed you last week. Had cords showing. And this is also the one that had the mass airflow code for bank 2. And the mass airflow sensors are the same, so I moved them from bank 1 to bank 2. I switched them left to right. When we get done, we'll drive it and see if it sets a code for bank 1. If it does, the sensor's bad, which I looked at data, it looks good right now. But we'll see on the road. So we're good. Not emergency level. But if you don't bring your car in every couple of months for some kind of service because you drive a lot, down about 3 millimeters or so, you do your brakes. Just like tires went too far, we don't want that to happen with brakes. Both are critically important to safety. I hope the green versus blue label doesn't mean anything. I thought we were doing 2 tires, but apparently we're doing all 4 so that they're perfectly matched. Anyway, boom, first one. Nailed it! Is this thing on? Just like that. Brakes and alignment. And a road test to see if that mass airflow sensor code moved. I want to show you guys. I did recommend, I looked at the paperwork. The back tires I said were dangerously low and the front tires are getting close. If you look at it at a glance, the tire looks like it's okay in the middle. But if you look at the outer edge, she drives this underinflated, and that's one of the things she came in for, asking about her tire light being on. All her tires were at about 18 to 22 psi. It's supposed to be about 32 to 35. So that's why we're doing the front tires. I almost forgot about the edge wear, and we're also doing a wheel alignment. Nissan guys, love you guys. Love you guys. Matter of fact, I think it was Brian that watches my videos and comments a lot that bought a Nissan Frontier, which they're cool looking trucks. You know, they do a lot of things on them are more complicated to work on. I don't know why. I think they look at Honda and Toyota cars and they say, we're the 3rd Japanese brand. We are the Chrysler of Japan. We need to make them at least hard to work on so we can stand out. And the guys in the shop will talk about our stuff. What was I doing? Oh, I need a wrench. I'm gonna get a 14mm ratchet wrench for that part. Jeez Louise. Ow. Watch your elbow on the lift. It's the price we pay for doing gravy brake jobs. I don't think that's ever been out of there, because a lot of guys, what they'll do is take the top bolt out and swing it away. Uh-oh. Nissan. What's funny too is my 8mm rule, if it was 8mm down, it would probably take about 12mm up, and it would clear that pipe. If this caliper was just here or just here, it would clear. I don't know, just me. I'm starting to think after all these years that's not really their concern. If they accidentally make it so you can get it off, great. If not, tough. If it doesn't hurt the assembly process for them, what do they care? The thing for me is though, why would you want mechanics talking bad about your product because of the way you do things? Think how popular a brand would be if they just made them just a little easier to work on. A mechanic could say, man, not only are these good, reliable cars, they're also one of the easier brands to work on. And our customers would be going, that's what I'm buying. I don't know, just me? That must be. Yeah, that's not even, can't even fit it out, you can't turn it. Okay, that's fine. That'll help it. Now I can at least roll it back. Get these pads out of here. Squealer is a whisper away from touching. So I know there's some doubters out there is what I'm saying. Oh my goodness, I need a wrench for that one too. Okay. The bottom one you can't put a socket on it because the suspension arm's in the way. Why wouldn't it be? Well, let's try not to slam our arm on the lift again. What we'll do is we'll pull down instead. Well, I can't. Oh look, the suspension's in the way again. You turkeys. You gotta have snap-on to do your job. What kind of hack are you? Quit being a mechanic if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have snap-on wrenches. That's literally what someone told me. Like, tell me you're not a professional mechanic without telling me. Or tell me that you spent so much money on snap-on tools, you got to go around calling everyone else stupid. One of those. I used to be that guy, but I didn't tell anyone they were stupid for not buying them. I just wanted them because I thought they were the best. But eventually you find out that customer service only applies while you have a loan and a lot of tool truck debt. Once you pay all that off, they could care less where you're at, what you're doing, what you need if your tool broke. Warranties null and void once you pay off your last 10mm socket. I wish I was joking. Everyone's got to make a living, I guess. That's the thing. Ugh. Look at man. Don't do this if you're not professional. Sorry you had to see that, but we got to do what we got to do to get this work done. We got a lot of work. I had to do that because my wrench, my ratchet wrench, I turned it out too far. Now my wrench is trapped. I can't get it out. So I had to loosen the other bolt. I'll try to pop the rotor loose, pull this bracket out enough so the bolt can come out the last 2 turns. Because Nissan, yay! Yay, Nissan! But these pins are different too. I don't know if I probably mentioned this before, but just in case. This one has a rubber bushing, goes on the top. This one doesn't, it goes on the bottom. So I put them on the lift the same way they go back, so I don't have to sit there wondering which one went where.
I don't know what it is. These rotors are covered in oil. I mean, usually have a little. If I had really clean parts washer, I'd probably run it through that. I take the stuff off the whole rotor. You only really have to take it off with the braking surface. You don't want it on there to contaminate the pads. But I take it off the whole rotor because otherwise the first couple times they get hot, you can smell it. Sometimes you'll even see smoke from the oil burning off. So.
Trying to avoid all that. Oh, also on Nissan, I might have mentioned this before too. There's 2 sets of hardware clippers. And make sure you replace the original ones with the same replacement size. And this car has the wider ones on it. So we'll prep this, a little bit of a wire brush action, a little bit of grease under and over the hardware. Going back together. Butterfingers gravity check. Today's first gravity check. Don't worry, there's going to be plenty more for this. These just simply snap on. If you line them up real good to begin with, they're easier to put on. A little too much grease. I might have mentioned once or twice how I don't know what's worse, a full grease container or an empty one. If I can bolt this back on without trapping any tools and having to leave them with the vehicle, I'll do that. Drive it around while it's running, young man. The car came in for a no start. You're out in the parking lot running it until it doesn't run again. Drive it to a lift. Gotta teach these kids everything. In combination.
It struggles, obviously you heard it just now, struggling to start. But you can smell the gasoline exhaust coming out from the side. So it might need gas also. But there's no check engine light. That's why part of me thinks it is, but part of me thinks it isn't.
You gotta put a fuel pressure gauge on it. And what happens on those, sometimes a regulator will rupture, and sometimes there's a fuel line inside the plenum that will crack, and it'll just put way too much gas in the engine and flood it.
Yeah, because you see the gas gauge move, so it's reading it.
If you put a fuel pressure gauge on it, turn the key on and turn the key off, and the fuel pressure gauge drops right down, and it's leaking somewhere.
If the fuel, if you turn the key and it goes on and it stays there, but it's not the pressure.
Not high enough, then it's that pump. If you don't get enough pressure at the pump, you get pressure and it bleeds off. It's leaking inside the pump. I used to work on them things all the time, man. Made a lot of money on those trucks.
But you worked at Chevy, right?
For a little while, yeah. But it just, I mean, just those trucks are everywhere. So many Silverados with 4.3s, and the S10s have them, and you know, they all have them. Get it on a lift while it's running. Remember, this is the bottom one. Without the, oh, ow, ow. Gravity check. Throw your tools around like they're cheap. That wire brush costs $1 at Harbor Freight. It's not cheap at all. It's going to be a problem. Look at this. I must vent. It's easy. What I do in these, I pull the rubber boot off, make sure we get some nice new clean grease in the bore, not too much. Everybody wins. The customer, the mechanic, the Nissan engineers, everyone's happy. Tighten these two bolts up, knock the other side out, and then we're going to hop on the alignment rack. Of course, the wheels will be torqued in between. That's how you type it. Car with the wheel that came off on that Lexus, he had the wheels painted. He blamed the guy that painted his wheels, and we found out that the guy that did them gave the wheels to him and he put them on. Next, all I need now is to pop those wipers on and get on the alignment rack. Happens to be a lube rack right now. Some of you might remember this vehicle. That's why I sold the wipers. They've seen better days. If you've never done a wiper blade, they're pretty easy. They always clip or snapper on there. Like this one, to get it off, you push this little leg underneath. And the new one, you squeeze this, you can open this door to pop it off. They said these are for greasy hands. That's what these are for. I don't know how true that is, but that's what the guy from Napa didn't film taking the tires off. I had to lower it down. This is the one from yesterday. He approved the catalytic converters. Look at these lug nuts, by the way. This car's from Massachusetts, and I gotta do exhaust work. So, ow, that one's hot. I said I really need to get OEM cats for this. But they're really expensive, so we didn't get OEM. So we're gonna see how these work. It's got a cat code. If you saw yesterday's video, PO430, which is bank 2. PO420 is bank 1. Now why they don't have PO410 and PO420, I don't know. But that's how they chose to do it. It's not up to me. You gotta get to the shield because these little some gums, the bolts face down to hold the front cat on, which passes the test right now. But I said go ahead and do them both while you're in there. It's only another $1,000. Throw it out. Do it. Also not up to me. I wonder if my mic's working. Oh yeah, I got a solid blue light, so we should be hooked up. You see the O2 sensor sticking up? That's in the exhaust manifold. Underneath this metal shield, which is pretty mangled already, there's 3 15mm bolts or nuts, and there's 3 studs facing up. You got to take those 3 nuts off and then take the cat out from underneath. We'll open these boxes up and I'll show you what that looks like. Always cut towards your frame. What caused the original one to fail? This cat bolts up under that metal heat shield I showed you, and the 3 studs go in there. It looks like a decent size cat at least. That's good. Notorious for carbon fouling causing premature failure of the original and replacement converters. If the issue upstream is not repaired, we're going to do a decarbonization, but we're doing it after the cats. Down here somewhere is some bolts. I got to might have to get a different impact tool. We'll try with this one first with an extension. Nice, it came out. Okay, I didn't think it was going to. I like to use an impact gun for those, believe it or not. That usually gives you the best odds of getting them out. Wow. I need to be more optimistic. I didn't think they were going to come out. I'd make big leaps from too optimistic to not optimistic enough. But we're trying. Spinning that O2 sensor out. Might not be easy to see, but that's the apparatus I'm using. If you've been around a while, you might remember that socket. I think I bought it on Amazon or someplace like that, real cheap. And it's soft metal, so it cracks, and then I weld it back together and keep going. So I've welded it around here where it keeps cracking, but it works. It just says no warranty. That's the brand. No warranty. Never heard of it. Now, the O2 doesn't have to come out to do this cat. It's not screwed into the cat, but I couldn't get the shield out. Now, I can get to the converter bolts down here. Might as well. I think I can pull that shield out of my way completely, but let's see. There is a lot going on in these GM front-wheel drive SUVs. What's really weird is how high everything is. The engine's down like 10 inches from what it would be in most brands, but that's why I take the front tires off, just to lower it to T-Rex height. A little bit of speed juice. You guys might have heard that I don't care much for this. That's what we have. What we're going to use. not asking anyone to send me a can of this, by the way. You guys are awesome. I say stuff thinking it's funny, and then stuff comes in the mail, so I'm not asking you to send me it. If I really get on them up front, they'll get it for me. You might have to beg 2 or 3 times, but they'll get it eventually. It's awesome when you do that stuff, but honestly, just share the video with a friend or mix it up in the comments. That helps a ton. And YouTube sees people doing that, they promote your content. You got a lot of viewer participation. The algorithm is all in love with you. Got my big 3 notes out of there. I think everything else happens from underneath on this car, including the rear converter. Gosh, I sure hope it comes out from the bottom. I can't see it. See that bolt in there? The nut? They face the engine on both converters, but I think I can get them from underneath when I finish lifting it up. I just wanted to take a peek now. This thing's got new sway bars, sway bar links, lower control arms. Someone has been doing some work on this thing. That's because the new one's 50 grand. Well, it might be kind of hard to see, but there's a bracket here on the transmission for the front converter, 2 13s on the bottom. Back here, the O2 is in the pipe as well as the front, 2 13s on the bottom, and I spotted a loose heat shield bolt up there. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if someone's done engine work. The cats look original. We'll have to see. Not going to be a real easy one to get to, I'm guessing. That's why it pays like 7 hours for this job, because the rear cat is most of it, I suppose. Like a swim at a hotel on the beach. Right there. Gravity check on purpose. Don't count. Support bracket already, that helps. This thing. Ugh. I was like, why is the cat moving? This broke, which is a real common thing, and then it usually cracks up by the exhaust manifold and they have an exhaust leak. So we're going to kill 2 stones with 1 bird. You guys saw where I put cats in the Suburban the other day. I put a little copper anti-seize on there because this gasket kind of flops around a little bit. Shouldn't be too bad for this one. You have to put this up there without knocking the gasket out of place. Get it up into the exhaust manifold and get a nut starter on the top. It's knocked up. Nice place. I'll button this up from up here. Get back under there and try to figure out how the rear one comes out. That's going to be the fun one. That's probably not too easy to see, huh? I got my magnetic socket in here. I can't hardly see it either, so don't feel bad. Might as well get the heat shield in, get that O2 back in, then we're done up here. Now, the rule book says you gotta take the rack out, stuff like that. But the making it work way is to lower the car enough for the T-Rex arms to get to the nuts on the front. Let's see. We got one. One more to go. Look at this. See that socket up there? Let me get you a light a little better. See it? It's on the last bolt of the converter. And now the pipe's in my way, and I'd much rather move that than remove the rack. So if I take this hanger off, put a pole jack under here, and we'll come back, see if we got enough room to swing our ratchet doodle. Should have a little more room. Matter of fact, instead of being a wise guy, I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in, and we'll come back. Three nuts. I forgot I had gently tucked my socket up on the back, so I didn't detect this. Yeah, I did put it in. Of course, the bracket didn't quite line up perfectly, but it lined up alright. I had to tweak it with a pry bar a little bit. Dude, are you serious, dude? I'm gonna have a good paycheck this week. The only dilemma being it might void the warranty, but I feel compelled to just drill a hole larger to get the threads out of there, and once the stud passes through, it'll go back on the way it came out. And everybody will feel like a winner, not just me. Love that. Problem is, you don't want it the same size as the stud. There's got to be some room, because the converter might have to wiggle a little bit here and there. And the hole in the other converter is really big, so it's probably happening anyway. Get some cutting oil. The bottle's got a hole in it. What the heck? I'm not putting tons of pressure, just some pressure, without forcing the drill. Gotta watch for the drill to catch. Try to turn the drill instead of the bit. You gotta be careful if you want. It likes to jam and turn stuff. Now, I know I've got a little bit of room, just like the other one had. I don't want these metal bits to go in the converter either. Just clean that up a little bit. You're going to tap your drill bits. I like to just tap the metal bits off, the big ones. I don't tap it near the part of the drill bit you use 99% of the time. And you can get a blow gun or something, or wipe them off with a rag. If you use a rag, don't use a shop rag. Use like an old paper towel you can throw away. Otherwise you end up with metal bits in your shop rags when they come back from cleaning. You know, I know. Decades of being stabbed in the hand with metal shards. That's convenient, it was already in the garbage. Someone blew their nose in it, I ain't scared. A little bit of the old copper goo. Oh, that's what the guy was saying. It was about this, I think. He said, if you don't have a full jar of that stuff, quit your job or something like that. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. You want to quit your job being a mechanic because you didn't buy a whole tube when I've got 12, 15 of those things and that lasted years and years and years. I love the internet. That's a fun place to hang out. Put this on without knocking that gasket out. I was prepared for the letdown, don't worry. The problem was I was hunting around to find that stud hole. Here it is. Man, stay. I gotta grab my nuts. Alright, that's the last one I took off. The first one I put on should hold my gasket in place. Now I can put the pipe back up and do the other two. Of course, I got to lower it to T-Rex height. The T-Rex is actually kind of big. It's the arms. I get that confused. Get this hooked up and non-flopping. Lower you down on the safeties, one click. Now I can get my other bolt. Tighten my other two nuts up. And those 4 flange bolts. We can start the converter break-in process. Scariest thing of all, when your battery goes dead in your flashlight and you're leaving the car because you don't see it. I'm like, where's my flashlight? 2 O2 sensor connectors, and put that brace back up. And it's about lunchtime. After that, maybe we'll drive this to lunch. We'll cool off afterwards. That's part of the break-in. You can start those with a tool because it goes up in a tube to a nut welded on top of the cradle. If anyone got sad. Whew, I'm tired. Did a full day's work by lunchtime. That's nice. Nice and quiet. I'll let you know when we get back from lunch how it was. No codes. GMC was great on the road. Let's see what's next, see if some parts. I'm waiting on a door latch for that Infinity. And I gotta do the Honda timing cover oil leak. But there might even be something else to do, I don't know. It changes from moment to moment. Alright, might sound sketchy, but we got an eBay part. It's $1,200 at eBay part, $2,000 for the Land Rover part. I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday. 4 7mm bolts. And then this just sits down here. 2 guide pins and 4 screws for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. Maybe it's 6. Yeah, it's 6. Once these are screwed in, then it's 2 electrical connectors, and you pop the clips together. I'm gonna see if this vehicle will start and drive. I'm gonna put you back on charge if you don't mind. Hold still. It's only gonna be a low pinch. There you go. Couple of electrical plugs right next to each other. Dude, man, it's hot in here. Goodness gracious. All right, let's see. Ta-da! And get this thing out of the sun. I'm not even gonna pop that panel down without getting it in the shade. What do you think about that? Holy moly, I can't touch the steering wheel. How do you drive this car every day? I gotta do the inspection on it too still, but gracious goodness, it's hot. should get the thermometer. I bet you it's 145 degrees, 150 degrees in this car. You want to see? I'll grab it real quick and we'll come back. I'm not even going to cut the film. What do you think about that? It's cooling off though. It's in the shade right now, but this is the quick and easy thermometer. Let's see my temperature. 96.4, so I'm good. Let's see how much the steering wheel is. 155 degrees. Seat's only 120 something. Cry baby. But you know what? Nothing a little AC won't fix. Let's see if we can find auto. There it is. We don't need 59 degrees either. I just got to pop this back in place and some sturdy clips. I'll tell you what, you got to hit them like it feels like you're gonna break it. We're knocking them out like flies today. 159 degrees on the dash. So I'm gonna do an inspection on this one real quick and then find something else to do. Oop. I think they were saying something about pulling the valve cover off the Jeep next. But you guys need a charge. I'll probably put you on charge, get that Jeep underway, get out that valve cover, and I'll bring you back. Well, unfortunately for this customer, I don't see a ejected rocker arm or a rounded off cam lobe, which means we're going to be dealing with a head gasket between cylinders 4 and 6, potentially a burned valve. We checked cylinder 2. I didn't do a leak down on 4 and 6, but when I pulled the heater hose off, no coolant came out. The customer never mentioned it getting hot. So now I'm thinking that something's going on with the head gasket, probably between those cylinders. So what I may have to do is pull the coils and plugs out, put my leak down tester in the other 2 cylinders and see if one of them, something's messing with the vacuum signal on that side. So I'm leaning towards the head gasket. I told him if you want to do a leak down test on all 6 cylinders, I can put my borescope camera in there too and take a look. Might as well spend some more time on it. I'm amazed how clean it is. He's really maintaining it. If this is the original engine with 300,000 miles, he's been taking care of it. It's way dirtier on the outside than it is on the inside. In the meantime, it's almost the end of the day. I said, you know what? I don't have my door latch actuator deal here yet, but I can align it. And then that door actuator will be the only thing left. It only needed a little bit of tow right here. And it's ready to go. Tow and go. So I can print this, take it on the road, and we will call it done. And I'm tired. I didn't film some of that because the battery on the camera was low, and I'm just really tired and cranky. But you're basically caught up now. Getting that valve cover out of there. Let's go back out to that one a second. Yeah, oh, new guy. Starting Monday, brought his toolbox. Seems like a nice guy. And he's honest about his capability. He's like, I prefer to do oil changes and brakes. Maybe a serpentine belt here and there. So I hooked the ECM back up. To get this thing out of here, you really got to dance. To put it back together, I'm going to have to evacuate and recharge the AC and pull these AC lines out of the way, because it was an absolute bear to get it out of there. And if I put it back together, I really don't want to knock that gasket out of place. It says in the Jeep instructions that you can reuse the gasket if it's not deformed, but it's plenty deformed. See how flat it is on the bottom there? Kind of run around in circles end of the day. We're not done yet though. We got a quick oil change. We're gonna finish out the day strong. Nobody can mess with my oil change game. There we go. I think I might have to empty this again. It's getting kind of full. Nobody wants to see a spill on video. That would be tragic. Everyone would be sad. Maybe I shouldn't assume nobody wants to done by Friday. Tell you what, it'll be done by Wednesday. How about that? But the woohoo, that's hot. Front brakes are 7mm. Back brakes are 9. I don't know why so much heavy brake. Tires are pretty done. You know, they're not tragically bald. Probably hard to see with all the dirt on them, but they're low. I just changed my son's tires last night on his truck. They looked almost exactly the same. Just because of the wet weather here. Oil filter's up here on this one. I'm gonna knock this oil change out, finish up the day strong. I think I'm approaching 50 hours for 3 days. That's pretty good. See if it keeps going for the rest of the week. Certainly going to try to do our best and do it right. So thanks for watching. Do me a favor, torque the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you're new and you just found the channel. If you want to see more realistic content. I don't make the scripted videos where I'm all sunshine, giggles, and wisecracks all day, laughing, yucking it up. It's the stupidest channel on YouTube. I don't do any of that. I do the real deal. When I'm feeling goofy, I'm goofy. When I'm not feeling goofy, I'm not. But busy, productive days. That's what we're all about. Hope you enjoyed it. More than anything, I hope I'll see you in another video. Because you're awesome.